Welcome back to the Nic Nice Show. We have an amazing guest. She's an award-winning author, a journalist, a media trainer, as well as the president of Enchanted PR, representing clients like Chili from TLC and many more. With us, we have Christal Jordan. Welcome to the Nic Nice Show. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me, Nick.
It's our pleasure. We have so much to cover, but first, can you tell us about you, where you're from, and how you grew up?
Absolutely. I'm actually from Toledo, Ohio. A very small town that's actually closer to Detroit probably than some of the other cities in Ohio. I lived there, and then my family moved about midway through growing up to Oklahoma, which was very different than Ohio. So I actually ended up going to college at the University of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooners, and I got a degree in organizational communication with a minor in public relations. I always loved writing. I had every internship imaginable. Went on to work in corporate America as a PR professional for various jobs in Oklahoma. Started as the community relations coordinator for Barnes & Noble. That was a really fun job to kind of start your PR career off. And then a hospital, museum, the ballet. I did everything I could possibly do in Oklahoma, and then transitioned here to Atlanta and started a career in entertainment publicity. So I've been here ever since, and that's actually how we connected.
So you've been doing your thing for a while. What has it been like building your company and your career?
Challenging. I came to Atlanta about 9 years ago, and there weren't a lot of publicists here. There weren't a lot of just PR jobs that were available. It was a really hard time in the economy. And so I was actually looking for another corporate job and could not find one. And the ones I did find, they didn't offer the salary that I was used to. So I ended up going to work for an entertainment firm called Solstice Media Group, headed by Rhonda Baraka, who was an amazing brain. She's absolutely brilliant. She was worked with LaFace for many years and some of their artists. And so I went to work for her, and she had T.I., Sierra. She was working with the affiliates at that time with DJ Drama and Don Cannon and DJ Sense, and just so many people. She had Escape. I mean, it was amazing, the amount of people that she had at that time. And I just jumped right in and took my PR knowledge and kind of started learning about the differences in entertainment. And there were a lot of things that were the same. And so I ended up, when I went on my own and started my own company, I stayed in entertainment because I had had so much fun and made so many contacts. It just made sense to stay in that genre.
Some people may think they know what PR is, but just in case, can you tell our audience what is PR, branding, and why is it important?
Yes, I always get asked if I'm a publisher. I'm a publicist, not a publisher. PR is basically managing a brand's image. We manage the public perception of a brand, a person, an event. So it could be anything from working with a design team to create a logo, to create an invite, to booking a client to go on Wendy Williams, to partnering a client with a charity organization. It's any and everything that one does to help create a public perception or a public persona. And you know, everything from Lay's, the company Lay's potato chips has a brand image, to, of course, singers, artists, businesses. There is no business that doesn't need public relations.
There may be some people watching and wondering, like, when do I know it's time for me to go out there and get a publicist or a PR professional?
That's a great question. That's a great question. And I think that, you know, I think about PR as the icing on the cake. I think of it, you know, me being a woman, I think of it like your makeup. It's like you have to have the bare necessities before you apply your makeup. Actually, you should have great skin. You should be working on your skin. You should do a great cleanse, a great moisturizer, and then you apply your makeup. Just like with a cake, you should have your ingredients. You put your batter together, you put it in the oven, you bake the cake, you have a great cake, and then you add the icing. So, you know, saying that, I mean, public relations should come to a project once you have the concept, you have the idea, or you have the raw materials needed to create that image. I think you can bring on a consultant when you're, you know, coming up with the idea to kind of hear how they would market you, but you definitely need to have something for us to publicize before you bring a public relations professional on board.
From what I can tell, the world of PR is pretty competitive. Is that true? And what are some of the good and bad experiences that come from that competition?
It's very competitive. It's very competitive, but I think that, you know, I think there's room for everything. And I think there's so many different ways to do PR. Obviously, social media is a huge component of public relations now. I think you can't really have a PR campaign without having a really strong social media campaign within that. So it's very competitive, but I know that there are, you asked for some bad examples. A lot of times people undercut themselves for business, and you have people that want to get PR for free. That doesn't exist, or it shouldn't. If you're getting something for free, there's probably a reason that it's free. But when you have a market, especially here in Atlanta, where so many people are doing one profession and there's so many different price ranges, you know, you have people that come and try to haggle, and that used to worry me. You know, my price is this, and well, someone tells me they'll do it for a third of what you charge. And I've learned through experience just to say, well, that's fine, then you probably should work with that person. And 9 times out of 10, the person ends up coming back later, you know, upset that they wasted their money, because you get what you pay for. And I'm not saying that you should be overcharged, but you know, this is a skill that yields results that can equal bigger business. It can definitely, you know, have a great return on your investment. So you have to pay for it. You definitely have to pay for it.
Now, one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on was talk about current things going on in pop culture from like a PR perspective, like Beyonce, for example. Amidst divorce rumors, they were last seen on stage as a happy family at the MTV Awards. As a celebrity publicist, what do you think about how they've managed their image and their brand?
I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Actually, one of my junior account execs sent me a picture that night at the MTV Awards. It was like, look what a publicist can do. And there was the great kiss with Beyonce and Jay-Z and Blue Ivy. And you know, I'm not saying that that's the case, but I do believe that people get upset and feel like they want to know more information. But I think they handle their romance from the beginning beautifully. They give you just enough to keep you excited, but they really manage their image, and it stays in line with who they want the public to perceive them, so that they'll keep buying albums, they'll keep attending. You know, everyone just went and attended the On the Run tour. They're now On the Run is on HBO and a documentary. I mean, it's brilliant. I love, that's one of the best case studies there is out there of you know, talent that really understands the worth and the value of their brand and knows exactly how to keep those lines drawn so that they still remain somewhat of a mystery, and that keeps the public just totally, you know, in love with them, because you want to know you don't really know enough to make a judgment, but it's fun to guess and to speculate, and they give us enough to keep doing that. But I think they're genius.
We'll get to the Ray Rice situation after the break, but the last elevator fight that we saw was Solange going in on Jay. Like, what do you think about how they handled that whole situation, and why do you think there wasn't as much outrage about how Solange was going in on Jay-Z? Well,
you know, I'll speak from a professional standpoint. There is a double standard. If it had been Jay-Z going crazy on Solange, regardless of the reason, I'm sure Solange did what she had to do. But I'm saying if we saw it reverse and Jay-Z was beating up Solange, there would have been outcry, you know, and that's not fair and that's not right. And I think, you know, anyone with any sense of integrity can say that there shouldn't be a double standard. However, I think they handled the situation beautifully. You definitely saw that there was an issue. There were some issues going on, and the way that they handled it, not making a public statement about it, but instead showing us through pictures. Everything is very strategic. Beyonce posting pictures of her and Solange so that we understood that they were still in a good place. And then we saw family pictures together. And when you don't, you know, feed the fire, eventually the fire goes out.
Like I mentioned, I want to get to the Ray Rice situation along with a few other topics. Can you hang around for a little bit?
Absolutely, I'd love to. All
right, great. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Christal Jordan after this.
The Nic Nice Show, sponsored by Audi of America, Truth in Engineering.